Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Naval Action. So, I'm a bit later than usual with the patch video, but here we are anyways. The patch has arrived, it's patch 10.0. I had a live stream yesterday, and there was the wipe, and we're gonna go right at it. We're going to, unlike the last videos, I'm just going to explain the changes as we go. So, first off, there's no PvP 1 and PvP 2 anymore. It's PvP EU and PvP Global and PvE, and PvP EU and PvP Global have their own port battle timers. So let's get right into this. Healthy population, 900 people right now. So one thing to mention, if you already had a character on the account on the server, so if you had a character on PvP 1, you'll still have your character on PvP EU. If you had a character on PvP 2, you'll still have that character on PvP Global. And if you had an account on PvE, you'll still have that character in PvE. Of course, and this is tied into two things. It's tied into your character name and all that. And it's also tied into the redeemables. So another thing which this patch brought was for existing users, you get redeemables. If you bought in the art, you get that as well. You get XP, you get crafting XP, forged papers, which allow you to change nations once. You get the indefatigable, pickle, surprise, and trader's brig. Everything else you don't get. So, let's go into the changes. So, first of all, you have these perks, but they're not what you call it. They're not the officer. So these are independent of the officer. You don't lose the officer, so you don't lose the perks. You of course have buildings as usual, outposts. You can expand docks now. So now I believe the limit is 2 slots until you buy that. I'm not sure, however. You have the Admiralty, of course, which is new, where you need to get these different, or where you can get these different things. You can get blueprints, you can get resources and materials, some modules, permits. I'm not sure what the difference is between permit, that's for construction. I don't know what the difference is between the two. And craft, now you can craft cannons, which also brings us to some of the new buildings. Oh, I'm not in Willemstad. Let's see, let's get a permit quickly. I can afford that. And I meant Southman. So, some buildings, you have the shipyard, which is required to build ships, of course. And you have the workshop, which is required to build cannons. It's rather expensive, but well, if you want to have carronades or longs, you don't have any choice because you can only get mediums now. So, that's unfortunate for you. Another change is in armament. So, now you have to buy the amount of cannons required to... Now you have to buy the cannons required to fully fill the deck. So, in the case of the cutter, it's 12 guns. And it varies from ship to ship, of course. What else? Is there any changes to shop? Nope. Mission changes is now limited, I believe, to Eerste Luitenant. So the 4th level, I believe. It could be the 5th one, but I'm pretty sure the 4th level is limit. You still have delivery orders. So those changes, and unlike what was initially planned, global and help is still here. So without further ado, let's just set sail with the cutter. Ooh, I forgot to show. I'll show that when we get into combat. So let's just enter open world. Yeah. It doesn't matter what we attack, it's just for demonstration purposes anyways. So another thing which was changed. First of all, there's no grid. Also, there's no coordinates. The coordinates are removed. Yes, personally I'm in favor of it. However, I also understand if people don't like this. I understand it perfectly. It comes down to preference. I understand both views. So, yeah, there's that. We're gonna ignore the brig since we're going to escape battle anyways. You also have this total port, which is just teleport to nation. You can still fish. Port battles are still a thing. I'm not going to go into that. Let me just get up the patch notes. If there's anything important I'm forgetting. Oh, right. All the ships only have one durability now. So, yeah. Only one durability for all the ships, which I'm in a big favor of. And another change that was made, which I will showcase soon. As soon as I catch up to this Ingemanland. But that's in regards to hold. So, before, you would manage your hold and such after the battle was finished, after you exited the battle. I'm thinking I should have gone after that brig instead now. Whatever, I'm committed. No, I'm not. Forget it. Let's catch up to that brig. So, anyways, now what they've done, and you'll see that later, is they have removed the end screen. So no more end screen or end battle screen. So you get pushed right into the open world now, which means that all of the hold management and all that is in the battle instance itself. So that's something to take into account. Another change they made is in pirate instances. All pirate instances are now everyone versus everyone. So that's very important to keep aware of if a pirate attacks another pirate. I don't believe that's the case for player versus or nation versus pirate. Don't quote me on that though. I'm not reading the patch notes either, by the way. I'm just going through things. I'm not going to do a detailed thing like I usually do. If you want the detailed patch notes, they're in the description below, unless I forget. What else do I want to mention which is important? Yes, blueprints. As you saw in the Admiralty store, there were blueprints. And blueprints don't drop anymore. You either get blueprints or you don't. So, no, yes, well, it is that. Either you get them or you don't, of course. But what I meant to say is, either you get the blueprints. I'm also going to try and capture this vessel, by the way. Either you get the blueprints at a certain level, or you need to get them from the Admiralty store. There is no random drop chance anymore, which I actually think is a good thing, since the random blueprint drop was frankly annoying. I was not a fan of that at all. So I am happy to see that gone, and I hope it stays gone. After all, just RNG like that is a bit frustrating. And here we can see some changes. So here you'll see my mouse. If you take a look at the middle here, there's a new HP bar, or a hit point, or a structure bar, or whatever you want to call it. And that is for the hull itself. So unlike before, this is an extra bit of damage. It adds something else to account for. And what it does also do is that it makes the penalties for just hitting everything with the stern. It changes that somewhat. You can't tank everything with your stern anymore. Before, you would lose a lot of crew, but that would be about it. But now you can destroy masts, which makes sense, since masts, even in modern sailboats, go all the way to the bottom of the, or to the keel, usually. I know that our sailboat does, or my parents' sailboats to be exact, which is more realistic. And you can now also sink people if you shoot them enough in the stern. Is that bit entirely realistic? Well, honestly, I don't know. Sinking in general wasn't that common, so that's something to keep in mind. But it definitely makes just tanking everything with stern harder, which is definitely an improvement, I would say, since that, I'd argue, was a bit of an annoyance in the past that a lot of people abused by just camping the stern, or not camping the stern, but tanking everything with their stern, which is now not as viable. Steps in the right direction, I believe. So now we're going to go ahead. No, don't turn like that. Don't turn like. God damn it, was. God. Oh right, it's a combat vessel. If I could, we're just going to run away. I'm not going to waste everyone's time. So I'm going to sail away, and then I'm going to highlight the end of the battle screen. And so I'm going to talk a bit before that happens about people might be worried about the problem which might occur of end battle screen camping. And I'm going to not explain, but show why that's not a problem when that happens. Oh, and speaking of PvE, while we're at it, you can't capture PvE vessels at all anymore. Is that a good thing? Bad thing? Well, it might promote more capture in PvP. It will promote more player-crafted ships. And honestly, I think it's kind of necessary with only one durability, because if it wasn't a thing, why wouldn't you just use captured ships? Why would you bother building one dura ships when you could just capture AI one dura ships? So I think that it's kind of necessary. They could have done it like they initially said with the new crafting system, which, oh, that reminds me, I gotta get to that. Well, yeah, why would you make a ship when you can just capture one? Unless, of course, the captured ones are shit. But then why make them capturable at all, if you get what I'm saying? So, the new crafting system, there's some changes to that as well. Let me see if... shipbuilding. So, there's new planking trims added to the game, and new wood types. And we're going to have to get out of this battle to see the changes. I believe the changes were made, but oh well. Let's just get out of this. Landing battles is still here. I do love landing battles. It looks great. So, PvE marks, as you've seen, they're there. PvE, PvP, and Conquest marks. You get free for the crew still. However, higher levels you don't get free crew anymore, which you used to, except for the 30 crew. You need a perk now. This is something I'm very much in the support of. You need a perk now to have fleet ships, which I think is definitely something which is useful. Okay, now if we leave battle, entering overworld, see, there is no end screen. What will happen instead is there'll come a bit of a pop-up battle report. No rewards. Aww. But that was because I pulled this for Sir Robin. So let's pull into port and let's take a look at the shipbuilding changes, if there were any more significant ones. Also, something I should mention. There's some next steps as well that devs have mentioned. They're going to work on better PvE content. They're going to work on UI and localization and hostility improvements. So going off of that, we're not too far off of release, since UI rework and localization is one of the last things they wanted to do. Since, of course, if you're going to keep on adding new mechanics, removing broken ones and whatever, having to rework a pretty UI every time, it gets tedious. It means a lot of wasted work, which is why we have this very basic Unity UI. So, also, that's what I wanted to show. You have 60 seconds invisibility, which grants you some time to escape. And I believe you also have 120 seconds vulnerability, which is, I think this includes that, which you can use to tow to port, which is a 120 second teleport. Granted, you can't have anything in your hull if you do that. So, yes, battle screen camping. Well, you can't stay in a battle screen, but people can find your battle and stay outside the battle. But, well, you can't stay in the battle screen, so the fact of people wasting time by just logging off at a battle screen or whatever is not possible anymore, since, well, there is no battle screen to stay in. And I believe after 5 minutes you'll be booted out of the instance if there's no enemies anymore anyways. So that solves a problem some people had, and, well, I'm a bit sad at the removal of the end battle screen. Fine, I guess I'll live with it. I'm not too happy about it, because it provided a good opportunity for me after, like, a daring action to, like, just log off. But let's see, shipbuilding. Let's see, ships, links. Okay, it's still the crew space, thing like that. Mahogany. And these all have their little attributes. So that's the changes to... there's the new wood types. This is for the framing, I believe. This is planking. This is the frames. There's some limitations on this. I might go into this more detailed another time, but this has been a quick look. Let's say that. Quick look at patch 10.0. I hope you're enjoying the wipe and patch. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It isn't a traditional patch video. If you want to see the patch notes, take a look in the description. They'll be there. If you enjoy my content, feel free to subscribe to me. You can also follow me on Twitch and subscribe to YouTube if you want to check out my live streams. I've started live streaming more regularly. And finally, if you want to support me with some money, feel free to send some money my way on Patreon. There will be a little link on the end screen. So anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!